with a patient who is older or dementia, you may travel. It's fine to travel. You just have to take extra precautions, and so some of them are listed here. I'm totally in favor of flu shot, pneumonia shot, shingles shot. Everybody in this room should have those shots, amongst others, but real important.
How often do you need a pneumonia shot?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years. And the shingles shot is once, and the flu should be every year. A friend of mine is an ER doctor who travels as I used to, and she has her 99-year-old, totally bedridden, stroked, mute mother who does not move with a tube feed, and she travels all over the country with her mother, and it's a most sad situation. But if her mother had been left behind in a nursing home, she would already be dead from infection or falls or stuff like that. The woman has immaculate hair, nails, skin, and has the perfect body weight for her 4'7" little body that she lives in, and is totally unaware of anything. That is a really exceptional situation, and but almost anybody can be traveled with. It's just there's extra challenges to doing that. And backup medications to bring, Tylenol, Motrin, a backup antibiotic. Let's say you're prone to a urinary infection or something, something for nausea, diarrhea, and Beano is good for gas, okay? Another thing, if you're traveling, people, I also have been a cruise doctor, and when it's good, it's really good, and when it's bad, it's really bad. But repatriation insurance can be purchased for a very short, small amount of money, and depending on the policy, it could be for out of the country or for just more than 100 miles from home. Hey, that could be Orlando. But if some medical situation happens that you really want to get back to your home base, there could be some very considerable costs, especially if it involves air ambulance and that kind of thing. And I just want to mention they will not change the course of the cruise ship without either repatriation insurance or a cash payment of enough money that would make you faint if I told you. Okay? And so it's pretty scary, pretty scary. And a cruise can be a wonderful thing, but when, Pop has a stroke off the coast of Mexico or something, you're in some pretty big trouble. Advice after age 80. This is just my take on it. My sister and my lives have been vastly changed because my parents insisted on staying in beautiful Naples in their own residence and would not move to a place where they could get help or come back north. And I'm not saying it's destroyed our lives, but my life has not been my own. My father's heart attack and bypass and complications are already 17 years ago. And I'm raising kids and going to work and just having to deal with them constantly. Consider a life care community. Consider living near one of your children, or encouraging it to work out for one of your kids to move down here. Hey, it's great. Have your affairs in order. My father refused to allow me to get into his personal papers and stuff. He was getting dementia. I told his estate attorney that, he was losing it and his decisions were bad and etc. But Dad still played golf, still drove a car, still drove the golf cart, played bridge and won. But the guy was making bad decisions and very forgetful. And the estate attorney did not back me up. And I can tell you, he will not be my estate attorney for that reason. The estate attorney made all the right plans and everything, but my dad's desk looked like a hippopotamus died on it when he broke his hip, riding the bicycle that 5 people told him not to get on, but his mind wasn't working right, so he did anyway. Consider a home office manager. We have Sherry from Life Bridges Solution. But having somebody to help get the bills paid and enter your books into Quicken and organize your tax stuff, or help you with medical bills that you're not quite sure, you know, do I really have to pay for this or stuff, it's worth its weight in gold, if possible. Sherry has recently written a book, and it's called Facing the Finish, Facing the Finish, and it's at Barnes & Nobles and so forth. And it goes through every aspect of your latter years of life situation, because there's financial, social, medical, geographic, family. I mean, there's many different aspects. And she says, although our family is at the top of the pack for elder planning, one of the things that was in the book that really struck me, has anybody read the book, The 5 Love Languages? A great book, The 5 Love Languages. Different people have a need to give or receive affection or caring in different ways that mean something to them. And while I knew it, I didn't get how that applied to the elder or the dementia patient. My mother has a need for somebody to sit with her and let her tell old stories, or spend 47 minutes, I kid you not, 47 minutes on the value of what you can do with a $1 can of canned salmon from the dollar store, how many things you can make it into, and if welfare people would know this, they wouldn't be in such a bad situation, and how to mix it, and the pans, and the oven, and how long it keeps in the refrigerator. And I'm just like, oh, please, I've got to go. But my mother's love language is sitting and being listened to. That's her love language. And it means very little to her that the house is clean, that she's totally cared for, that they have plenty of money, that their taxes are already undergone, that the car's had an oil change, the plants have been watered, and her sheets are clean. Okay? That means very little to her in her type of spectrum. She just wants somebody to sit and listen. Yeah, and so the book is great, and it has a workbook to go through in case you're in the process of figuring that stuff out. Facing the Finish. Facing the Finish. Oh, life.
5 love languages.
Oh, the 5 love languages.
5
Love languages.
languages.
And it's very effective in relationships. I think you can tell I'm a doer. I'm a doer. And so I don't so much need my husband of almost 45 years to necessarily do for me. Oddly enough, what I need for him is to show me something tender and caring, because I'm such a accomplished kind of person. I can go mow the lawn myself or whatever, but I need somebody to show that they care and value me in a softer way to balance off who I am. And so we've had a couple chats. Thank you. And I have one more point, the one I forgot earlier.
You remembered.
Yes.
All right.
I haven't totally lost it yet. Urinary infections. Urinary infections are ubiquitous in the elderly. And when a person is not doing well, they're just maybe not eating so well, or maybe their mood is different, or maybe their legs seem a little weak, or it could be just some little thing. Something you can do at home is to have some kind of container, I don't care if it's a mixing bowl, and collect that urine, put it into a clear plastic cup, and look at it. If it's real cloudy, it smells bad, and there's a bunch of stuff floating in it or something, then you call your doctor, or consider calling the doctor anyway, because a couple of the major sources of admission to the hospital, which won't be if you're hospice, but anyway, are urinary infection and pneumonia. And so we check my mother's urine in that way once a week, and because both my parents have had very serious pneumonia because they were so frail, I have them on saline nebulizers 3 times a day with this smoky pipe thing, and a spirometer, that little bubble thing that they give you to blow on after surgery. they had to do that every day, and we kept track of their fluid intake. That has a lot to do with pneumonia and infections. Another thing is protein and calories. We had them on a lot of protein shakes, and like I got a few extra pounds here, but a lot of senior people, either they don't want to eat or they lose their appetite or whatever, but keeping reasonable muscle and body mass will have a lot to do with the longevity. And I'm very fond of Bill here, but he needs to put a little weight on. So he needs to put a little weight on there.
He tries to do that, but he
Well,
doesn't have a stomach inside himself.
He's a very, very active man, but the old adage that a really thin person who gets ill will go downhill fast, it still exists. It's still a fact in 21st century medicine. Somebody who has, 5% body fat, if they get sick, they're going to go down fast because there's no reserve. That's total body, and then that's muscle mass, which goes down after 50, down, 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 down. And with your dementia people that you're caring for, any kind of walking, exercise, swimming pool, nutrition, and prevention of pneumonia and UTIs, you'll have your people around a lot longer if you look at those things than if you just wait until one day they can't get out of bed. You're already behind. And then, as I said, please register your people for hospice as soon as you've made the decision that you're not going to do any more big ticket stuff. And it's a favor to you, it's a favor to family. And the first time that music therapist comes, or the massage person comes, or just somebody comes to help my mom play around with her papers, and the many services that they have, it's a real treasure and a gift.
Thank you so much.